Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party here. No ret this morning. It is Wednesday, which I typically would have ret out here on Wednesday. It is 8:22 a.m. It is 25 degrees Fahrenheit outside, so 32, yeah, like -2.5, -3 degrees Celsius. It's so cold, and it's been cold for a while, and it looks like it's going to be cold for a bit. So basically, we got we had a bug. It's to prevent extra animations from being created. I would show it to you, but we're still waiting for the server to come up. And then I have it working. I got it fixed. Now I'm just wanting to get my unit test coverage back up to 100%. I'm guessing I have a couple of unit tests that are probably failing, and that's probably because the function doesn't exist anymore. So we'll see what happens with that. We may have some TypeScript issues. But basically, this is coming up. What was happening before is you'd hit this, and then you come here, and as you would click back and forth, it would just get faster and faster and faster. If you looked in the logs, you would see that there was a bunch of extra animations. But now we only have the one, and it's because we recoded it so that instead of sort of the animation getting called as a side effect of the entire visualization being created, it's like specifically happens when you hit the add viz. Um, why didn't we have that to begin with? Well, because when I built out the animation creation part of this application very early on, that was before um, the button existed. And so anyway, so it looks like we have a couple. We are looks like they don't want to transpile. It looks like right here, this animation service spec uh, is trying to call this animate visualizations, which I'm pretty sure is one of the functions that we did get rid of. Um, so basically what we want to do is, I don't know what we're doing here, but I think basically this was sort of the side effect code, right? Like, so whenever the visualization was created, we would then call this animate visualization. So let's just go ahead and comment that out, see where we're at. Because honestly, my main goal when I do all this stuff is to get 100% coverage. So that was the same one. That was the same issue. Is that it? Were they all the same? Looks like that might have been the only issue. Okay, but it looks like it's not watching for changes, or it wasn't. It's probably watching the regular code, not the tests for visualization. I wonder if we looked in the watch command, see what we have it. I should be watching all TSs, I would have thought. Let's look in our package. We're waiting for this thing. Watch configuration development. ng test watch code coverage. So I would imagine there's probably in one of these JSONs, there's some sort of configuration that tells it what to watch. And it probably is not watching the specs. All right, so looks like everything compiled this time. And we did tell it to run with coverage. So let's wait to see what kind of coverage we get, or see if they all pass. I guess that's the next step when you're dealing with unit tests in this, what I'm doing. Now, if you see I guess we have a spec that isn't running anything. But looks like we ended up with them all getting copied, but see, we don't have 100% test coverage now. And it did look like there was one warning saying, yeah, this one has no expectations. So we definitely want to deal with those. But first, I guess we want to figure out what our 100% is, because we might end up getting expectations once we get 100%. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to grab my index. And I will say that when we first started this project, right, um, this, like what I've done in like the last 45 seconds, would have taken a couple hours. So it looks like there's only one that doesn't have 100% coverage. And that's this app component viz. Let's click in there. And in this, it looks like the service has it, but our actual viz component only has, let's see, we can click in here. So we have two statements not covered. We have 100% of branches. So generally when I see branches aren't covered, that means it's probably going to be hard. It looks like one of our functions isn't getting called. So usually that's pretty easy to deal with, but maybe not this time. Date dimension. This update dimension signal handler. This. So this function gets to bounced. It's kind of weird that it's not like this is when it broke, because we didn't work on this at all. But maybe it doesn't, maybe because of the not calling something, I guess maybe this used to get called as a side effect. All right, so this is the time that I set aside for like making sure that I fully understand what's going on. So we have a bounce service, we pass it to bounce, and then we pass it this whole function from here to here, and we pass it 100. Now this function itself is not getting called because like the test is done before my guess is the test is done before 100 milliseconds. So it never ever gets called. Um, so basically this is inside of biz component. So I'm basically going to just go over here, close others, just so we can get down to one thing. And now we're going to go into our components. We're just going to close everything up. Okay, so we have our viz component dot this guy right here. And this is right here. It looks like this is our problem, if I remember correctly, line 71. And this is a really good example of something where it's like, I would be very afraid to fix this. I would be very nervous that I'm going to miss something if I didn't do it this way. Because um, like end-to-end tests might like you just like this is happening after some sort of debounce, like it's just would be easy to break something and not notice it. Um, but since we have end-to-end testing, that should catch anything we might break. But basically, we want to pull this out into be its own function. And what does this thing do? Dimension changes. Okay, resizes the component, right? ID. See this? Oh, okay. Yeah, updates the size for a visualization. So this is telling everybody in the world, hey, the size just changed, and then this updates the. So just basically, as a general rule, it just updates sizes for um, for a visualization. So update visualization dimensions. I know we're at the very least going to return a Boolean. And just to get that thing to quit crying, we'll say true. And so this is a function that it's going to run after a tenth of a second, and it's basically going to update the aspect ratio and the height and width. And I don't know what those things do, and I don't know if I care to know what they do. So I'm just going to copy that, put it into here. There's so many things that can go wrong. We just got to... Okay. So basically this uses everything is off of the... This is definitely not even close to a pure function, which is kind of a bummer. We might end up wanting to make it a pure function, but since all it does is two calls, I guess it doesn't need that. Okay, so now we're going to do this. We're going to give it this function to run instead of... And I don't know if this is going to work. Now, this may or may not work. It just depends on whether it loses context here. And I just can never tell if it's going to lose context or not. So it should be pretty obvious though. And it looks like this probably gets handled when we resize. So it probably is mostly visible or 100% visible. Is it building? It's still building. When we're in edit mode. Let's see. Nope, it did not. It didn't run. Wonder if I have a error. Yep, undefined. So it's saying that here that this doesn't exist. So what we want to do is, and so in JavaScript it would never ever 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 exist, but in TypeScript, in Angular, sometimes like they transpile your code, and sometimes they work stuff like that out for you, and sometimes they don't. Um, it just probably depends on how you assign things and things like that, but um, it's not necessarily super reliable. Let's change this view, add this viz, change this view, update, size. Yep, so now it's working. Again, this is a perfect example of something that probably, a year ago today, I would spend a week trying to understand that. And now we've just done it so many times that it just is like that. Some places you'll do something like this every single day. Other places you'll never ever do this. So if you work at a place that never ever does this and you have 5 years of experience, and then you go interview at a place where they do this every day, they're going to be very confused on why you don't understand this. Like why you don't do this every single day. It's just sort of one of the hard parts about interviewing as a software developer, especially as a senior. All right, so now let's see if that changed anything in our unit test coverage. Okay, so it did not update our code. So it did not, so supposedly watching, but obviously it didn't. I suspect this is probably the reason why Angular decided to leave. Jasmine Karma. You notice, oh no, we still have one test that does nothing. Okay, so now we're good there. Looks like we are good. Good in the neighborhood. So we're at 100% coverage. So that's good. It's 837. All right, so I have one test that's not doing anything. And I think we put our little, did I? Oh, maybe not. Oh, there it is. Debounce service should call to bounce with default time. So it's saying that let's see, is this one issued? So this is not causing problems. Okay. So I don't even know. So this one doesn't do anything. Actually, this whole test I don't think does anything. Get base render. Here we get the renderer. I guess we could expect let me put this in here. st renderer dot st renderer id to equal. I haven't thought through this, but I can't see this absolutely should be true. So if it isn't, we got a problem. Okay. Okay, so I see another one. Is this the same one? Yeah, debounce service should. So I wish when you clicked on that, it would do that. But debounce service has no expectation. Should bounce with default time. I don't know what the heck. Okay, should call to bounce. I think we should be able to find that text. Kind of blows my mind that this one isn't. Let's go ahead and get rid of this comment while we're here. And I feel really good because I don't think all the code that we wrote, while I didn't understand what all the functions did that I called, I definitely understood. So it's saying that service cancel unit test. Okay. Let's put semicolon there. Now, I wonder what we have. Service dot. See, I don't think it gives you any. I don't think there's really. Well, okay, let's go to the service. Debounce service. Go to definition. Okay, this doesn't return anything. Okay, bounce. Return this to a boolean. Okay, so const let found equals false. So we didn't find anything by default. And then over here, we definitely found. If we found a timer, so found is equal to true. True. And then we're going to return found. And this is a really good example of like working on something you probably shouldn't be working on in an enterprise situation. You probably shouldn't step outside and work in stuff that's completely different because it is so confusing for people who are doing builds when you do that. Okay, I think we still have the same problem though, right? Because we still didn't. Okay, yeah, const can found is equal to, and we expect found to be truthy. To be in true. Right, we expect that to be true because it actually does exist. We added it and now we canceled it. I see something here too. Okay, yeah, this was the one we were just, yeah, looking at. Okay, so it looks like that's done. But okay, so we got a problem here. So I guess we missed it. Components should handle dimension changes. I feel like that's just where we were at, right? There we go. Dimension. What does this do? Go to def. So this returns a boolean and okay. So both of those get called. Const result equals. Then I think we expect result to be truthy, but I'm not 100% sure. True. There's probably something I could really do there to benefit myself. Okay, so they all pass. I think we're at 100%. I don't think we have any warnings. I guess we can look in here. 100%. We do have some logs, but mostly empty logs. It's kind of a bummer having all these logs. They kind of get in the way, but for now we kind of need them. Kind of want to comment out our log for the moment just to see what we have, but let's see what's 8:45. Yeah, we got time for that. All right, so we have our log. I believe the log is happening inside of our services. And let's see if I can remember it when we get here. I think it's going to be under utilities, probably under timing. Is it to bounce? No. Routing general. Where do we have our, is it our UI? It was our utility that handles generating the recyclables. I don't think that's an Angular. I think it's control. Let's do Control V REC, recyclable sequence service. Oh, so that was under utilities in general. We have hash service and recyclable sequence service. This is starting to become like one of the most important things. Okay, so what if I get rid of this console log just for the moment? Will it I don't think it'll redo. I have to hit refresh, reload. It looks like it was doing something. Okay, trying to render a deleted renderer. Okay, so I don't think there's enough here to. So I was a little worried that maybe I had some warnings that I was missing. It doesn't look like it. Like some important console logs that, or like, hey, this is broken. All right, so unit tests are done. Let's go ahead and add another terminal. So I think what I usually like to do, I guess what I like to do is I'd like to do a unit test commit. Problem is it might end up being a super commit. So let's wait to see if all the um, if all of the end-to-end tests npm run Cypress open, if they all pass, and I still have 7 minutes, then I can do this as a super commit. And I'm going to kill the, no, I'm going to come in here and kill this here. And again, that is something that you absolutely need to do when you're like doing Carmen Jasmine. I do not know if you need to do that with like the latest. I think it's spelled VITE unit test scheme, that system that we have in place now for anything new. But this was built, like I believe I built this in Angular 19 to begin with, and back in Angular 19 it came with Karma Jasmine, and so I got 100% coverage with that. So now I'm kind of stuck on Karma Jasmine for this one. My new projects are all VITE, Vita is how I pronounce it. I don't know if that's the correct way to pronounce it. Um, but I have 100, so, but they're not nearly as complex as this application. Let's see, end-to-end testing. And I can tell you right now that this just gives me such a sense of relief having these things. Um, because, who knows if that debounce thing broke the keyboarding. There's just no telling what it might have broke. And now I have tests that just double check all the things. And like I said, I don't consider it an actual feature until there's an end-to-end test for it. And since I don't think I actually added any features as part of this, I just got things working. 5 minutes. I should get Duo up and running on my phone. So home worked, viz worked. I don't expect anything to not work. I really do expect it all to work. I would knock on wood, but my dogs will go crazy thinking that someone is at the front door. Knocking on wood is something we say in the States. I don't know how much it is a thing, but it's a thing that we say in the States to like say, hopefully nothing changes, I think, or we've been lucky so far. Let's keep, sort of acknowledging that. Like you'll be like, oh, knock on wood, I haven't tripped on my way to the mailbox ever. Because a lot of times, I guess we have sort of the idea that if you say it, oh, I never trip on the mailbox, you will, unless you knock on wood. I think that's the general thing. It's definitely before my time, and I've been around for a while now, so it's definitely you still hear people say it, but yeah, so that's good. So it looks like that was in fact a super commit. So we kill this and come back over here. This is issue 9, video. I think this is video 372, right? Yesterday was 371. Yep, 372. So I think doom and then 2 and then super. I think I just typed in super. So this means it completes the entire task and is ready to be committed or get merged in. Git push. Now I want to go to GitHub. And I want to go into my pinned space and time project. And then to do this compare. Let's make this bigger. So basically, since I'm the one who committed and I'm the one who is approving it, I'm not going to do a deep look, but if somebody else had done this, then this would be the time for me to do a deep inspection of all the code and maybe pull it down and then try it out, run unit tests, run end-to-end tests, all that stuff. Okay. I guess that's the nice thing. Now that I think about it, that is the nice thing about Cypress too, that like that cyclic thing would definitely fail with end-to-end tests, like right out of the gate. So you wouldn't, if you had it as a rule that like you can't do a merge unless it passes. No, because it could pass end-to-end tests before you merge. Oh, but it wouldn't let you merge until the merged code is works. Ah, yeah, that would definitely catch that problem. So I'm going to assign myself to this one. I don't know why I do that, but I think it feels complete. Feels like the right thing to do. It's checking to see if there's any merge conflicts. No, there are not. So now we're confirming it. And then I always delete the branch because you'll end up with so many branches if you don't. Okay, so we are good there. And now Mesh should have a list of animation IDs. Okay, so this is what I want to do next. And then this is what I want to do after that. And then we'll see if anything happens during those to cause more issues. And if not, then we'll be back here. This is the top of the rabbit hole. And see, that was open December 20th. So that was a whole month ago. There is no branch, so that's good. So I haven't started. A lot of times I'll start a branch and then I'll realize, oh crap, I need to change something. Which can make things kind of weird. Okay, so I'm going to assign this to myself. I'm going to create a branch. I'm going to check it out locally. And this will help me kind of come up to speed tomorrow morning on trying to figure out what I'm doing. Right. So now we're in our 19th issue. It's the mesh should have a list of animations instead of the whole animation. So basically what it is, and this I'll start working on this tomorrow. Let me kill that. When I do this add viz, and then I look in here, F12, and I look at my console log, we come into mesh, you'll see I have ST animations, but we don't want this. We want these to be IDs. Now this has a potential of breaking things all over the place. So, we're just, who knows how this is going to be, but basically what I want is the animation ID to be 7. And then I want my ST animation to go get it. But the problem is I don't even think I have, let's see, in my services and so I might actually have to do part of the next thing, which is the refactoring. because I don't. Oh well, so we have an animations entity, animations back. Okay, do I have an animations dictionary here? For some reason, I thought I didn't have an animations dictionary. No, I do not have an animations dictionary. See, if we go to our interfaces, we can see that I think it's under base. Is it under base? Yeah, we have our dictionaries. We have our base dictionaries, which are not really our base. That's a bad name. So we have all these dictionaries, and see, like ST animation is a legal type, but I don't think I have an animation dictionary. Geometry, camera, vis. So basically, we haven't defined an animation dictionary, so it seems like that'll be the first step is to come in here and say holds. That is fascinating. So maybe I should be. I wonder if there's ST section. Three geometry dictionary. Wow, all my dictionaries are for. That is so interesting. So I have a sequence dictionary that can, but I'd rather have a very specific. ST animations. And something along these lines. This will actually really help me tomorrow. Dictionary. ST animation. Ooh, it is 8:59. All right. So, anyways, happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.